everyone and welcome back to Wild Unfiltered. Why the name? Wild because that is my name, and Unfiltered because this is a safe space for us to talk about anything and everything that we want to without fear of judgment or anything else. So welcome to everybody. I filmed this video already, but because I'm such a perfectionist, I just wasn't happy with it, and I know none of these videos are particularly of mine, particularly professional, but it's something I'm really enjoying doing and enjoying learning, and yeah, I just want to be happy with what I'm doing. So I decided not to put that out, but I decided that the topic was one that I did want to actually do. So here we are, take two. So this is what I'm loving at Louis Vuitton, and I want to start with a little bit of a backstory. So Louis Vuitton was my absolute first love in the luxury world, if you like, and I think it is the same for quite a lot of people. Yeah, it's a funny story with Louis Vuitton because it was my very first love, if you like, in the luxury world, and I already had a couple of Mulberry bags which I absolutely adored, but it was always my dream to have a Louis Vuitton bag. And yeah, I've talked in other videos about my background and training. So when I first started my career, myself and my husband, we literally worked and studied and we didn't earn very much at all. So yeah, it was always my dream to be able to afford something like that, and I just thought I never would. And I always wanted an Alma. I think at the time it was you tended to be Team Alma or Team Speedy. I definitely wanted an Alma, and I think, do you know, I don't even know the size or anything now, but it's probably the PM size maybe, or the MM size, not the huge one, sort of the middle size. And I wanted the classic monogram, and I just dreamed that one day I might be able to afford an Alma. And I think at the time they were around about the £300 mark, which today seems absolutely crazy, doesn't it? But yeah, everything's relative, and at the time it was a crazy amount of money, and yeah, I just couldn't afford it. And I had a friend, one of my work colleagues, who had, do you remember the Graffiti Bag? I'll put a picture up here if I can find one, and I love that one as well. And so one year for Christmas, my husband, bless him, I've told you I have a husband who's amazing, and yeah, he got the train secretly, went down to London and bought me my very first ever Louis Vuitton bag and surprised me with it on Christmas Day. And yeah, this is the bag that I opened on Christmas Day. And I don't know if anybody remembers this, but this, I don't know if they're still doing this bag or not, but this, I think this was called the Montesaurus or something like that, backpack. And it just has a buckle, and then it has a drawstring here, and then it's just one, I think it has a slip pocket, but it's one big space, no pockets on the back, and then it's got a little pocket at the front here. And when I saw the Louis Vuitton box on Christmas morning, I was like, I can't believe, oh my God, my heart was racing. And then when I opened this, I was so disappointed. And I know you're probably screaming at the screen saying how ungrateful, how selfish, etc. And that's how I felt. I felt awful that I felt that way. And to this day, so I don't know why I'm whispering, in case he's watching, in case he watches this video. But if you are watching this, I'm so sorry. It's just not me. It's never been me. I don't like backpacks. I don't know how to style them. I like a top handle bag, I like a crossbody bag, and I really wanted an Alma, but I couldn't tell him. I could not tell him because he had been so sweet and he'd gone all the way to London secretly to choose this. And anyway, so I never told him. As you can probably see from the bottom, it's terrible condition. Saying that, it's a 25 or 30-year-old bag, But yeah, I've loved this so much because sentimental value of what it means. And as you can see from the condition of it, I have used it a lot because obviously I would. And I promise you I'm not a horrible person. It's just not my style. As I say, it's very casual. Anyway, so that was my very first bag, and yeah. What's lovely now is both my daughters really like it, and my eldest daughter in particular has worn this a lot more recently. So that's really nice that she can use this and she's enjoyed it. So yeah, it was never going anywhere from my collection. It means the world to me because of the sentimental value. So yeah, so this was my very first Louis Vuitton bag. And once I got the taste for this, that's where I suppose my journey began. And yeah, I still wanted an Alma. So it took me, do you know, I've no idea of the dates, but years. It took me years to save up and be able to afford my Alma, which I did eventually get. So let me show you. So this is my Alma. And so what I did, and obviously this is in the Damietta bean, because I had the monogram backpack, I just thought I had to go for something different, because otherwise I'd have 2 monogram bags and that's all I had, plus my mulberry bag. I had 2 mulberry bags as well, and I just thought it was too similar to go for a monogram, even though the monogram Alma was the absolute #1 for me. However, anyway, I went for this one and I love this bag so much. So this is in the, as I say, the Damietta bean, which comes with the darker leather. And inside, I don't know if you remember these, this was the old interiors that was, it's like a burnt orange. And what's really interesting, I don't know if you can see here, it had the phone pocket, which wouldn't fit a phone in now, because it's quite small. So this was made for when we all had those little Nokia tiny little brick phones, or maybe the flip phones, they might have just fit in. So we're talking about, definitely, again, this must be, gosh, again, 20 plus, 22 years ago or something. Anyway, this has been absolutely beautiful. I use this every single day for absolute years and years. I can't even tell you how many years. Oh, this has been with me to so many different places, and anyway, so I love this bag. So yeah, that's just a little bit of background into Louis Vuitton and where my love for Louis Vuitton started. So my love for Louis Vuitton has never fully gone away, but I have to say in the last, I would say 6, 7, 8 years, yeah, my focus, if you like, went on to other brands. So as I suppose my finances changed and things became a little bit more comfortable for us, I did sort of move away from Louis Vuitton a little bit. So yeah, I have continually bought from Louis Vuitton, but only if a bag came out that I particularly really liked. Whereas in the early days, I wanted everything in the store would have had any of them, and I just couldn't afford them. And when I got to the point where I could afford a little bit more, unless a bag came out that I really like the Pochette Métis or the Capucines bag, yeah, I tended to go to other brands. And that brings us to sort of more recent times, and the more that I've looked round, particularly in the last 6 months or so, it's like my love of Louis Vuitton is absolutely coming back with a vengeance. I don't know if you saw my previous video, we went to Paris for mine and my husband's birthday, and I ended up picking up this absolute beauty, which is the Petite Malle. And again, it's in the monogram, but this is with the black and it's got the touch of red. And yeah, I'm not going to do an in-depth review of this, but safe to say I absolutely love this. And yeah, if you'd have told me a few years ago that I'd be buying monogram again, I'd have said no. I've moved on from monogram. I've got so many that I can dip back into with my collection, but no. And when I was looking at this, if you've seen my Paris vlog, which again I'll link up here, there were so many different bags that I really liked, and I started looking at the Speedy again, and oh my goodness, the Speedy, I think I mentioned in my other video, I don't think I would buy a monogram or damier ebene, like a coated canvas one now. But in the empreinte leather, where it's that really beautiful leather, they're just beautiful. So I'm just biding my time with buying this. It won't be any time soon, but I am thinking my next bag probably will be a Speedy, whether it's a 20 in the empreinte. I think at the moment they only do a black and a blue, which I'm not as keen on the blue. That's with silver hardware. I'm just not sure that one's for me, but the black with gold hardware is lovely. But I've got so many black bags that I'm sort of, it'd be nice if it came out in a fun colour, or I don't know, something a bit more summery. So I'm just biding my time on that one to see what happens. But there is other options when different collections come out, like the Stardust collection. That collection's not for me, it's a bit too colourful, but I'm sure other ones will be coming. So yeah, I'm just keeping my eye out really. I really like the Half Moon bag. I keep going back and looking at that one. I really like the canvas strap, and I think this is the same, or it's a very similar strap anyway to the multi-pochette. And I know everybody raves about that bag, how practical and everything that is. And I do like that bag, but I don't want another monogram bag at the moment. So, and I think when you go to the empreinte leather, I think it's a different strap. It's not the canvas strap. So yeah, I'm sort of waiting for something to come out, or I think there is an option to buy a canvas strap separately, so I may be able to, I don't know. But anyway, I'm loving so many different things, and I think it was with going to Paris and looking at the Vendôme store, where the lady in there was incredible and she showed us lots of different things, and it opened my eyes to so many different things again in Louis Vuitton. Again, I was looking at the jewellery boxes and the watch boxes, and again, I'll put some pictures up here. But I did see, I'd love to get Andrew one of these, so they're like, they're based on the Louis Vuitton trunks, but obviously it can be a watch storage box, and I mean, they're so expensive for something that's going to sit on top of a dresser, but they are absolutely beautiful. I love the luggage. I was looking at the Horizon. I think it's called the Horizon. I think it's the 50 and the 55, but I quite like the 55. And Emma from Emma Anders, she's got one of those, which I'm sure she's done a review on, and she loves it. And when I went to Paris with the girls back in March, I think it was, I travelled with Emma, and Emma brought that suitcase, and I nearly bought one. If I hadn't have bought I ended up going to Chanel and buying a Chanel 19, and if I hadn't have bought that, I would have definitely gone back and got the suitcase, because I just loved it. Andrew thinks it's crazy. Why do you spend so much on something that's going to get battered and shoved around at the airport? And obviously you don't use it as a carry-on, but sometimes they take them off you, and sometimes somebody else isn't careful when they're putting things next to it in the overhead lockers, and etc, etc. So yeah, that's something. But I love them, so you never know. So yeah, there's lots of things. I've always loved the scarves, and I must have 3 or 4, maybe 4 now, of the monogram shine scarves. Use all of mine, and I love them as a shawl to wrap around your shoulders in the evening if you're going to an event but you don't want a jacket. They're actually they're very beautiful, and they're very subtle, so I've gone for all of mine are just in the one colour, and yeah, they're just beautiful. So yeah, what else am I loving at Louis Vuitton at the moment? And I think I said in my video after we came back from Paris that while we were in Paris we looked at a lot of the costume jewellery, and I was really surprised how nice it was, which sounds silly, doesn't it? But I've never really looked at it before. I don't have a lot of costume jewellery in general, but the ones I have, I've tended to, I've got a couple of Chanel, a couple of Hermes, a couple of Dior, but that's pretty much it. And yeah, I hadn't ever really properly looked at Louis Vuitton, and yeah, I was surprised how nice, and also how all these things are relative, aren't they? But in relation to other costume jewellery from the high-end designers, some of the Louis Vuitton pieces weren't that expensive, more affordable, if that makes sense. So I'll put a picture up here because I'm not wearing them at the moment. I'll put a picture up here of the earrings that I got, and also I'll put a picture up of the choker with the LV, and I absolutely love that. I've worn it a couple of times already. The earrings I've virtually not taken. I've literally just taken them out last night actually. I've been sleeping in them, I've been showering in them. You probably shouldn't, but I have. They're very comfortable, and I think they were around, I think with the price with the exchange rate, I think they were around about the £245 mark, which is not completely cheap, but for high-end designer costume jewellery, I didn't think that was too bad. So yeah, I'm loving. I put some other pictures up here of other ones that I've seen either in the flesh or I've seen on the website, and I will definitely get more Louis Vuitton costume jewellery going forward, because there's so much that I've never properly explored, and I don't know where I've been, living under a rock maybe, I don't know. I do have my agenda, it's actually downstairs, but I use it a lot now, especially with planning videos, and I've got an old Mulberry planner that, again, it's in the old mock croc in the chestnut colour, and my goodness, I must have had that, it must be 30 years, because obviously I got it when I was first born, not. So yes, that's been amazing, but it is very heavy because it's beautifully made, beautiful leather. But when I had a look at the Louis Vuitton agendas, so this had been the large size, again I put a picture up here, but when I looked at the agendas, obviously because they're made out of the canvas, they're very light, and that's the downside of the one I have. So at some point, maybe hint for Christmas, something like that, that could be a really nice, because it's a beautiful present, and it's something that I don't know what it is. Sometimes I find it hard to buy things like that for myself because I feel like it's a real splurge. The other thing that I'm loving are some of the shoes. Now I have tried, now I'll put a picture up here, these boots I've tried on 3 times over the last, must be 3 or 4 years, and I've never bought them, and I love them. And again, they're in the monogram, and I didn't know if everything was a bit matchy if you were wearing these boots. I think they're called, what they're called, the Trailblazers or the Star Trail, anyway, I'll put it up here. But these boots, they did them just in black with I think it had a white LV. Again, if I can find photos, I'll put them up. And they also did them in the monogram. And I like a chunky heel. I really like that look with jeans or even with leather trousers and a blazer. That for me, and one of the scarves. So as I say, I've tried these on a few times because I absolutely love the look of them. But every time I've tried them on, I've just felt, they just felt so uncomfortable that I've just thought, no, if I'm in the shop and they're uncomfortable, they're going to be crippling. And I have struggled so much with shoes in the past, with buying expensive shoes and then being crippled. Louis Vuitton's a typical example. So every time I've left them, and every time I've then gone back and gone, I'll just try them again to see if maybe things have changed. I don't know what's going to change. And the last time I tried them on, I was with Andrew, and he was like, they're so nice. And I was like, they're crippling. And he was like, absolutely don't buy them then. Because he knows what I'm like. He's been with me when I've been hobbling down the street, nearly crying, because my Louboutins are so crippling that I've walked home with no shoes on, because it was far better than having those things on. So we don't need a repeat of that really. But I still love them. So yeah, I'm just hoping that they come out with a slightly comfier version of them, or they do something with them that makes them, I don't know. But Anyway, I love them. I also weirdly like these. I think these are like cushioned sliders. Again, Andrew hates these. He just thinks, what on earth? But I really like them. I can imagine them by the pool with your nice beach bag. And anyway, I like those. But yeah, it's something I've never actually bought, a Louis Vuitton shoes, and they have some beautiful ones. So I just need to keep looking, and eventually I will find some, I think, that are nice and that are comfy. In fact, I've just watched Meredith's video where she's just unboxed 2 pairs of shoes from Louis Vuitton, and I'll link it again up here if I can find how to do that. They're absolutely beautiful, but I particularly like the boots. I liked how you can turn them back up and just have them not turned over and just like a leather boot, so you can probably put them underneath with trousers, like wider trousers over the top or something, but then you can wear them maybe with leggings or leather leggings or something like that. And you can turn, again, I'll put a picture up here if I can find some, and you can turn the top over and you can see then the shearling. So I think they look really lovely. So yeah, so I'm going to explore those as well. But the main thing I'm going to start looking at a little bit more as time goes on is a ready to wear. A little bit of a backstory to this one. When I was in London, I went to meet Emma from Emma Anders and Lorna from Lorna Style, and we did some shopping on Bond Street, and then we went to Harrods, and we had an amazing time. And I think it was when we were in Harrods, I saw this beautiful cashmere coat, wrap coat, in Louis Vuitton, and I tried it on, and that was it. I was in love. And then when I met back up with Andrew, I was obviously raving about this coat, and he was saying how ridiculous the amount of money they are. And yeah, then he went and bought me one for Christmas as a surprise. So, and actually the one he bought me was even better than the one that I tried on, because the one I tried on was, I'll try and find a picture of both, but I think it was more grey with black on the lapels, where mine is black with the grey monogram on the lapels, and it's slightly shorter, so it's the most wonderful. And I know it's a coat, I know, and all of these are not important, are they? But it's the most beautiful coat I've ever seen, and I feel, and I never ever say this, but I feel $1 million in it. I really do. And the fact that, again, he surprised me with it, he is 1 in a million, bless him, and I adore that. And it is such a stupid amount of money for a coat, and I get that, and I would never have bought that for myself. I just couldn't. But it's opened my eyes a little bit now to ready to wear. And it is, I was talking to one of the sales associates actually about this, saying it's such a mind shift to move from bags to ready to wear, because some of the ready to wear could be half the price of a bag, but we still think it's absolutely extortionate for what it is, because it's maybe a thin jacket or a shirt or a jumper or something like that, and it's, how can you pay that for a hoodie? And actually it's about half the price of a bag that you've just been looking at, that you're quite willing to pay that money for. So there's a bit of a mindset shift to go, actually, if you're going to spend X amount, if you spend half of that, but you can still have something beautiful like some ready to wear. But in our minds, that's a crazy amount of money, but for a bag it's actually double that. For a bag is actually reasonable value. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, does it? The problem with ready to wear, and I don't know if anybody else is the same as me, but for 2 reasons. My weight goes up and down far too much to invest in anything too much with ready to wear, because I'd be absolutely mortified and absolutely beside myself if I'd paid so much for a beautiful dress and then I couldn't wear it because I couldn't fit in it. So that's the first problem, if you like. And the second thing is that styles change so much more quickly in clothing. There's an odd thing that's a very classic piece. Yeah, I still have that with ready to wear, that I can't fully get on board with it. But an odd piece, and the perfect thing about the cashmere coat that I have is just a wrap coat. so there's no fastening, so I could easily lose 2 dress sizes and still just pull it in a little bit more. I could probably go up definitely 1, maybe even 2 dress sizes and it still fit me, because again it's just a wrap coat and it's very oversized, and but you pull it in with a belt. So I do think out of everything, that hopefully will be a long-term, everyday, you know, a forever piece that will always fit me. We'll see, won't we? But yeah, I will put some pictures up here of some of the ready to wear that I really do like in Louis Vuitton. I don't like too many monogram items together, but I do like monogram, and I do like, you know, I don't mind if it's got logos. So yeah, anything else in the, I'm just thinking of anything else in Louis Vuitton that I'm really liking. I definitely want to add one of the vanity bags, as in the, not the bags, the actual vanity cases. So possibly one of the, maybe the Nice BB, I think is maybe the size. I'm just loving LV at the moment, and I'm so sort of glad that I've like rekindled my love for it. Yeah, so I think that's the end of the video for now. Thank you for watching, and I might see you in another one.